For those of you who don't know, I used to be a part of the LDS cult, or also known as the Mormon Church. I grew up in the faith. Actually, people all throughout my family history have been a part of this church, and most people actually call it a cult, and that is the correct definition of the organization. And if you don't know the history of it, I would highly suggest you study it. It's fascinating and devastating, and definitely heartbreaking to see how much pain was inflicted on humanity through this organization. And a lot of my ancestors have suffered, and a lot of people in my family have suffered, and even I personally have been religiously traumatized by the organization. And when I left the church, it took all the courage that I had to do so, because that is not something you can do and, remain in good standing in your community, within your family. And it was such a painful experience for me, so deeply painful, that I fully believe whatever you heal within yourself becomes your medicine to the world. And so as I was recovering from that, my heart just wanted to help people going through the same thing so much. And I felt so deeply called to it. And that is why I wrote my book, Always Worthy. I actually channeled it with an ancestor who helped liberate me from the organization, because he wanted to cut the ties and control that this cult has had over our family line. And it was so amazing to work with him through that, and to overcome religious trauma through my relationship with him. That was a really incredible experience. And also I created an oracle deck, and my ex-husband and I were working on this together, and he designed all the cards, and my guides helped me come up with all the words and the songs that are attached to each message. And there's 64 cards in this deck, and this was such a special project for me. And my ex-husband was really excited to work on it as well. And as we were building this and creating things, and so excited to share the healing that was available through what was coming through, my ex-mother-in-law got in between our marriage, took advantage of my ex-husband's mental illness, bipolar. He was in a very manic phase, and he abandoned our family, and she encouraged him to keep running and to never come back home. My kids haven't seen him for a year, and it's been a tragedy for our family. But the main reason that his family wanted to break our marriage was because of what we were working on. And it's so sad, because we were working on bringing healing and hope to people who have a really broken heart. And but like I said, it takes so much courage to leave the church, and it's almost like in a lot of cases you have to choose yourself and your sovereignty and your freedom to choose, to not even to choose your own path, but to follow the path that you came here to live. It takes so much courage to do that, and you have to choose between doing that and losing everybody you care about. And I feel like when that choice was presented to me, it was the most difficult choice I've ever made, and I had the courage to choose myself. And my kids really helped me choose me, because I'm like, if I don't, they're going to have to be in this toxic environment too. And I love them enough to have the courage to break this cycle. My ex-husband always wanted the love and acceptance of his family, and it was always kind of like a little bit out of reach. And I feel like even though I experienced the same thing in my family, I feel like it was extra painful for him to experience not being accepted by his family. And that's why he was so easily manipulated into abandoning this project, abandoning his family, abandoning even himself, and what it is that he was working toward, what he was working on, the healing that he had felt called to do for himself. It's really sad. And it all goes back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, because it actually destroys family. And it goes back to religious trauma, and how deep that goes. It is profound. Okay, so the cards that are coming through, first we have I Am a Chain Breaker. On the bottom of this card it says, my choosing to step out of the darkness of religious trauma and generational trauma is healing generations past and future. And at the bottom of each card there's a song to go along with the cards, because y'all know how much I love my songs. And then we have, it's about who we are. The appearance of success, high callings, and a nice church mean nothing about our worthiness. It's not something we earn, but it's who we are. And hold to hope. In the quiet place of my heart, I find my connection to hope, love, and light. These are the things I hold on to when it feels dark. I trust that life is going to get so much better. The song on that card is Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. And yeah, what I have experienced from all of this is that it's worth it to break the chain. You can see the light that's coming from the center of this broken chain. And that's what I've experienced, is light coming back into my life as I've broken from these dark chains, realizing and remembering that it's who I am that matters, not the way I am perceived, but like who I truly am, and the light signature that I brought to this planet. And I want everyone to know that that is true for them as well. Whether you've experienced religious trauma or not, that is true of you as well. And it doesn't matter how dark life gets, that light, the light that you are, is always ablaze within you, and you can tap into that and let that give you the courage to overcome anything. So anyways, I wanted to share this little story with you and this special project that we had worked on. If you're interested in this deck, let me know, and I'll see how I can get it printed. It'd be really fun to do that. Anyways, I love y'all, and I'll talk to you next time.